You can set up a trade without the DMM, right? I just showed you how to set up a trade with the DMM. To set up a trade without the DMM is no different than what we just did. If you're going to set up a trade, right now it's 135, right? So let's say you wanted to set up a one-click range trade, okay? Let's say we wanted to set up a one-click range trade for 140. So how would you do that? You would click the strategy, double-click the strategy. If I'm going to use the range trade, I have 3 ticks above the range, 3 ticks below the range. I'm going to show the range, and I'm going to start the range drawing. Let's say I start the range drawing at 132. Because I want you to see it. That's why I'm starting it at 132. Let's say 130. I'm going to enter the trade, time entry, at 140. Now, I'm not going to wait until 140. I'm just going to show you how you would do it. 140. The one thing you have to remember, choose one-click range trade. Okay? Now it's going to use my target. Let's say my target is 10 ticks and 20 ticks, 2 contracts, 1 position on each. And my stop is 15 ticks. So it's going to use that. Instead of writing an ATM, I just fill in the numbers. So it's going to start drawing the range at 130. I put the range on. I'm going to change the color so it's obvious. I'm going to apply the trade. I make sure it says one-click range trade. Apply the trade and enable the trade. There's my range. Okay? Now, if I wanted to trade this as a discretionary trade, if I knew like the FOMC was talking and that their talking was going to make this market break out of this range, I could click one-click range trade entry, and my entries would be 3 ticks above the market, 3 ticks below the market. I'm just moving it so I don't get filled. I could also enter the market at my will using the stops and the targets that are in the market. If I click the long button, it's going to put me in the market long at the market. But it's going to use all my setups, my stop and my targets, just like an ATM, to handle the trade, okay? The weekly market mover tells you what type of trade it is, Valerie, the weekly market mover. Does the DMM, that'd be a nice thing to add to the DMM, in all honesty. I don't think the DMM says the type of trade, but it's all a question of room, Valerie, and we put it on the daily, so it's not on the DMM, okay? But you can tell, once you get experience, you know that there's only one bracket. There's no tiers, which we call a trap trade, a tier trade. So you can tell by looking at the DMM almost always what kind of trade it is. But one of the big things we do is create ranges, or that we know traders like to do. We get emails all the time from our traders that they're creating ranges and they have a great trade they want us to test. So sometimes ranges work great. Okay? So you can use the DMM to set up a trade, or you could set up the trade by itself.